Mello with George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. This is gonna be a busy weekend for me. I love it. I love it. It gives me energy to keep busy because sometimes last month was kind of slow. A few energy here and there, but I think taking my trip to Tampa really rejuvenated me a bit. I've had quite a few interviews since then, especially the opportunity to meet ladies who I've interviewed in the past, and now meet women and people that I going to interview for the future. And these two lovely people, I got the pleasure of seeing while I was in Tampa. They competed in the Tampa Bay show and also the IFBB Pro and NPC competitor. We have here the lovely Mrs. Viki Askew and her husband Tony Askew. And Viki is an IFBB Pro in Physique, and she competed at the Masters at Tampa, and that's been almost about a month ago. Can you believe that?
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, wow. And Tony also competed there. He competed in the Tampa Bay Extravaganza. And what division were you competing in, Tony? I can't forget.
Men's physique.
Men's physique. So men's bikini. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just bust you balls, Tony. I just bust you balls.
The thing is, I make fun of the class myself sometimes, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Well, you both.
Luckily for me, I don't have to turn around and stick my butt out. So it's
well, for me, that's the fun part about it. That's just me. That's just me. I'm just a person. I just got nothing. So we had these lovely people on here to talk and share the story. They did an interview with my man David from Female Body Informed. You want to check out the interview? I'll leave the link in the description. You can watch the interview. Support my man David. He supports me. We got to stick together. We're brothers of the women of muscles. So check us out. So, folks, this is a question asked to both of you. What got y'all both started in sport? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share. Ladies first, as the gentleman goes.
Yes. I just really loved the sport all the time. I was kind of a somewhat athletic person a little bit in high school and rode a lot of horses. But as time went on, I had a child early, so I couldn't quite get into the bodybuilding because my son's about 35. So later in life, we bring it up to play now. About 2016, 17, I started getting back to the gym, and my daughter was real young, and some girls at the gym were like, we're going to show you should try it. And I'm like, all right, maybe I will. And then I was trying to figure out what division would I start out in because I've never really built a body. So I went into women's figure division 2017, and I did an all natural show and ended up with like 2/3 and a 5th place, did very well. And then as the years went on, I just did my own diet. I did my own workouts, and I kept pushing every year to get a little more size because I love the muscles on women. It makes you just feel, and they look very strong, secure. Nobody wants to mug them. They're just, there's something to watch at the gym. They're just very critique. They look phenomenal. There's nothing nicer that looks better on a woman than some nice shoulders and a little trap popping out and everything else that falls in behind all that too. So I decided 2018, you know what? I'm going to push it this limit, try to get more muscle, and then went into women's physique for the first year. And did not too bad my first show. I hit a 5th place. We had a couple of women bodybuilders that were able to come into the women's physique because they had no bodybuilding class. So they automatically took first, second, and then the rest of us kind of fell in a pile. And again, that was phenomenal. And I kept seeing these women bigger sizes, and I kept thinking, I need to get a little bigger. I want a little bigger. So 2019 did a show, did very well. 2020 came, went pro. I met my husband then, and with his support and everything like that, I actually got to hire a coach, and that got me over that. I knew I was doing something off because I was like, I got the workout, and part of the diet's missing though. How can I get it to where I can get that pro card? And hired the coach for 1 year, and well, there was magic. It was called Almost Starving to Death, but I looked phenomenal. In 2021, I went pro, and that was like my big thing. I was the leanest one, not quite the biggest one, but so conditioned that I ended up taking 2 of course, the Masters division, women's, I think it was 45 and 50 at the time. Physique took 2 pro cards, 1 in each class. And then I did a crossover to figure before, to see where I was I did I have enough muscle? Did I not? So in figure, I came in second. So I said, okay, that's the division is physique that I need to stay in. So I just kept trying to get more size and stuff. So that's kind of like the baseline of me trying to get up the chain of stuff until right up today. Still women's physique. I did do a bodybuilding. Did crossover this year because I just found out last year you could do a crossover only as a master though. You can't go to the open classes. You stick in if I wanted to stick with just physique, then I could do an open class. But since I wanted to try the women's bodybuilding because I liked the front lat spread, the rear lat spread. So I said, let me try this. And then I was able to, they were like, you could do a crossover too. I was like, okay. So I did to see where I was kind of going to in these last 2 shows we did. Places is about the same on both women's physique or women's bodybuilding. So I know we got some criteria back from the judge. So I know what I need to work on and to get a little more muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing about bodybuilding. Even though the divisions are so much different between physique and women's bodybuilding, they still have those kind of similar aesthetics. I know quite a few ladies who've done that because as amateurs, only time you get to do crossovers is amateurs, and then in masters you can do crossovers. Because I remember one year, I think it was at this coming up weekend is the Masters World Championships, and I know Robin Mays did that. She did both women's bodybuilding and physique. She did pretty good. I got a thing to wear tomorrow. She's been a guest on my channel before. Masters, I think it's starting to grow because we just had the Masters Olympia. Y'all did the Max Fit, both of y'all, or was just you or both of y'all did it? Okay, yeah. I think you won in your class, Viki, right?
Yeah, at Tampa, I took 2 third places and a 5th place Tampa, and then here at the Max Fit, I took a 2nd and a 3rd.
And what about you, Tony? How do you do at your show?
In Tampa, I took 1 class, placed 4th in another. And at Max Fit, I took 2 first and a 5th.
Mm-hmm. So that means that you are, so you're you're nationally qualified right now?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and we're going to wait till next year. We're going to wait till next year and then push. I'll hit Masters and Collegiate Nationals and try my hand at do a shot at the pros at that time. So we'll spend a good solid 10 months just working on it. So
all right, so one more time to grow and really get ready because we got at least at least about 3 more shows for pro qualification. You have the North Americans. I think also in a few months is going to be the Amateur Olympias. Also, there's the USA's Masters, and also there is the Nationals. And I think you don't want to go all the way overseas. There's a couple shows overseas, but you want to be close to home. So, Tony, what got you into bodybuilding?
I've been an athlete most of my life. I wrestled and played football in high school, played football in college, went in the Marine Corps for 8 years. Of course, that's always working out. So, worked as a contractor a little bit after, and then, was just kind of a recreational lifter for a little bit, off and on through the years. I might go 2 or 3 times a week, and then I might not go for 6 months. Just one of those guys. In around 2008 or 9, I started going pretty consistently, and had a friend talk me, like she was talking about, do a show, and it was also a natural show, and and actually I won my class, won the overall masters, and placed 3rd in the open middleweights in bodybuilding. But the difference in naturals versus NPC and IFBB, I would not get on stage if I looked like that now, because I look like a freaking swimmer in Speedos is what it looked like. I would not do that. If I looked that way now, I would not dare get on stage. But it was enough of that. And just through the periodic chaos of life that can happen, I did not do it again until we met. And I'd started training got back really consistent, started gaining size in about 2018. 2019 suffered a pretty bad health event that took me out for about a year. And then we met a year and a half later, and it was just a perfect thing. God pointed out the perfect mate for me. So,
that's so beautiful. That's just the perfect woman. I mean,
but here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. I was already on prep.
Yeah.
He decided to go, oh, I'm going to show too, and hops on prep. Now, we kind of started, we got married, then we started dating. So
yeah,
we weren't seeing each other for a long time. Yes, exactly that look.
We met and got married 7 weeks later. And so we always just, so we tell people we got married, then we started dating. Because that's essentially what it
And that's where it's going to test you. You don't know somebody, they're a stranger, and you're on prep, so you're already cranky and you don't want nobody to touch your food, and you're hiding your stuff. So I felt like the kid that was not going to play any of my toys, and I was hiding stuff. I'm like, no, you can't be on my prep. This is my prep.
You got to share a bed with this man. So I've never been married. I've never been married. I've been a bachelor most of my life. Call me Bruce Wayne without the Batman and the billions,
But the funny thing was, I understood the process of prep just from doing it once before. And of course, at that time, I did not start it until the next year. I just supported her that first. And but one time I had a bowl full. And her coach. It's when she went pro. So I mean, she, talk about suffer. I told you I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. This woman, oh yeah, has as much discipline, more discipline than a lot of the Marines I served with. I mean, she's that gritty and that focused. I mean, don't let the sweet smile and everything fool you. There's a
little devil.
There's a monster in there. But one time I had a big bowl full of oatmeal and with cinnamon on it, so that just makes it smell better. And I had like 4 or 5 eggs on top of it, and went walking past her, and was right.
Yeah.
She's like, if you kiss me with that carb breath, I'm going to chew your face off.
I'm still trying to be nice because I was really feeling that anger wanting to come out and yell. And he talks about a bowl. It's not a bowl. It was a bowl, like a salad bowl of oats. And here I am, have not had a carb in probably a month. I was having green beans and chicken or fish. And he comes in with all this carb. And I was just like,
you bastard.
I know, right?
I know.
I got him back the following year.
She did. She did get me back because the next time.
So, Mr. Tony, sir, you should be old enough to know better than that. Dealing with a woman, you should know. You know what? Why I say this? I gotta say this, sir. I don't say thank you for your service. For anybody who served our country, I say I appreciate the sacrifice you have made for our country as a citizen. Thank you is never enough. Don't even say thank you, sir. No, don't stop saying thank you to me. Thank you to you, sir. Don't ever say thank you to me. I'm just a citizen. I'm just a pogue. I'm just a guy who never. I was thinking about joining the Marine Corps when I was younger, but I got a job and life happens, And also like you, I played football in high school. I didn't wrestle. We didn't have high school wrestling. We wrestled when we were young. We didn't wrestle. We wrestled when we were younger.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now you sound like from Alabama or Mississippi.
Well, I'm from North Carolina, so just a little bit closer.
Okay, well, I can make fun of Alabama because I'm from Alabama originally, so I make fun of those rednecks all the time. I don't care.
And I'm about as north as you can get in Massachusetts, so put about a north and a south together.
You get a Boston Martin and like that. Clam chowder. Eat the clam chowder.
Exactly.
Y'all people up north, y'all weird.
I agree. Now that I moved away, they are weird up there.
Yeah. But she did get me back because the very next spring I went into prep to go for what was it you had, waffles?
Yeah, it was protein waffles. I made protein waffles.
Oh man,
I was dieting him, so I made sure I had to diet him down really lean.
Yeah, she coached me in, and I was doing the same thing. I had like half an egg and maybe 2 pieces of oats That's all I had for breakfast.
2 pieces of oats.
and two oat grains. And then she's over there at the waffle iron, pulls off this big, thick Belgian waffle, and I'm like,
it was a protein waffle, very healthy still. But he did. He got cross-eyed. He's like, "Is that a waffle?" And I was like, "Yep." And I turned around and walked in the other room. That's all I said.
Well, dealing with bodybuilding, especially with food, sometimes it's like an addiction. You know, it's important to the process of y'all growing, but certain foods, you know, you can't have because, you know, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. Sometimes I talk to ladies, say, y'all be acting like, was the movie I remember was a classic, New Jack City, with Chris Rock played Pookie. You'd be like, Pookie, like, be calling my name, man, be calling my name, be calling me.
I love that movie, by the way. That's a good movie.
It's great. It's a great movie. Wasteland, that was a classic.
Good one.
Yeah, it's basically the truth about it. But but it's y'all two got together, and then you know you turned pro in 2021, right? Yeah, and that was North Americans.
Yeah.
You know, and what was that experience like? You know, when now after that long time, only just being, you know, it had been competing, but good 3 or 4 years as an amateur.
Right. Yeah,
and
then you know what's funny about that is when I went pro and got the pro cards, I was more upset that I didn't get the overall. I wanted the trophy. And they're like, "But you got 2 pro cards." I go, "Yeah, but I really wanted the overall and the trophy." And they're like, "Girl, you got to at least be happy with what you got." I said, "Well, I am, but I really wanted the overall because I was this close from the overall and stuff." But I think 1 point of getting the overall for that division on that pro day.
Yeah.
Who won the overall that year? Do you remember?
Do you remember her name? I'm trying to think what her name was.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. We used to be friends on Facebook.
Oh, okay. I don't remember, but
okay.
He might just.
Right. Yeah, I remember the face, but not the name. But you know, some people get really caught up in drama, and when they do, for me, that puts you on the chopping block. You're out. So.
Yeah. Well, I have a personality. Sometimes I love anarchy. It's the thing that makes it. I like my favorite thing, Tony and Viki, is dynamite and gasoline. It's just it's a gift. You know? Smell of napalm.
If it's the chaos I create, then that's on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, now you made your pro debut. I think it was in 2022. That was Omaha, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. See, as I said again, as my master Roswell the Demon had taught me, be aware of surroundings all the time, young Master Wayne. Yes. And what was that experience like that first time on the pro stage for you?
It was good. I didn't know what to expect. Again, I felt my coach kind of ran me where I spilled over, and I was super lean, but with some of the protocols, I ended up holding water and spilt over. So at that Omaha, I didn't have nowhere near as nice a package as I did when I went pro, and that's kind of what makes you go, okay, I think I'll just, not have a coach right now and just kind of take things in my own hands for a little while and stuff, and went back to prepping ourselves and stuff like that. So, but it was good because I think that was the first year I met Oksana was there and stuff like that. And we become friends and have seen each other at a lot of other shows through the last few years and stuff. And then her husband, we were always giving her kudos with her husband turning pro last year. And, there's so many great people, but she was one that came right to my mind because they do like to do that one, I think, quite a bit, or the Elm Cup one. But it was fun. It was a good year in Omaha.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of interviewing both Oksana and Autumn. His story of how he survived the Omicron variant of C19 that's why I reached out to him, because my mother, she had gotten the C19 and she died because she was sick for a long time. I was taking care of her for about 5 or 6 years. Yes, I appreciate that. That was, that's your woman. That was my woman. I say I didn't have relationships. I had relations. I had some fun with some ladies, but when my mom got sick, I had to step up because I can tell you, Drew, I've been through some medical issues because I had a pacemaker. I had my first heart attack when I was 39 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was at work. I was working in this factory, and I thought I was getting sick. So I couldn't, it was like too far away from me to drive all the way back home. So my sister lived like 20 miles next town over, both my sisters, but 2 of my older sisters. And she told me, Well, go get yourself checked. So I go to urgent care. They sent me to one of the biggest hospitals in the area, and they told me that Miss McCarthy, you had a heart attack. We have to keep you here for about a week. I thought, well, heart attack, you'd be like, coming to see you, Elizabeth. It was.
Yeah.
I thought I was having a cold.
I love that show.
Right. Sanford and
It's
Son.
a great show. Yeah, great show. But I can tell you, it's a lot to be couple into, because you're not. I've interviewed quite a few couples being like both are pros or one's a pro, one amateur, both are amateurs, and have a passion for his sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, at this point,
exactly.
the first year when we were together, that's when she was training and went pro. Then I had started training back again. So I've only been at this for about 4.5 years. Because after actually what happened to me in 2019, I had a brain aneurysm. So that's what set me back. And then we met about a year and a half later, and I didn't train for a year, and just barely. I would just go out and do a little bit of cardio. And two, was in combat. I was deployed as a Marine, and I never questioned my mortality at all in my life, ever, even after being shot at who knows how many times, until this happened. And then that's when you start thinking, okay, something's different. So when it was probably 8 months before I even went back into the gym, because I was afraid to even put pressure. Because every time you lift, your blood pressure goes up a little bit. It just does. And so I was, I didn't get touch of weights for a while. And then we met. Had already been back training for a little bit. And so after she went pro up the next year, I started training pretty hard, getting back into it, and then did a couple of shows. And but the last 2 years, last year and this year, we've done preps together. We've competed at the same shows together. So it definitely makes it a lot easier. Mm-hmm. So, and we, and it's easy to, because a lot of people are like, how do you guys spend that much time? How do you balance it? We're like, it's such an innate part of what we do. We don't ever think about it. It's just our life. We both own our own businesses. She's a barber. I run a lawn care company. But prior to that, I had worked in corporate technology for about 25 years. So, so throwing bodybuilding in on top of our careers and everything, that can be a grind for some people, but we don't think about it. We do the things that need to be done, and we just roll. I mean, it's never a question, okay, we got to get this done, or can we get this done in this amount of time? We don't have set chores. If something needs to be done, one or the other one is doing it, whatever it is around the house. So it's, we work, when you talk to one of us, you're talking to both of us. That's how succinct we are. Mm-hmm. So it's
we work in tandem.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That's so sweet.
I can almost
say the family that lives together loves together. That's how.
Well, I mean,
yes.
We're that. I mean, our energies are definitely connected, and we don't have to. We can look at each other and know what's coming or whatever. I mean, we don't have to really think about anything. So, but this fits both of us. It's it's I don't want to call it an obsession, because you kind of get marked with being a little bit crazy. But I think if you're going to be really good at something or be successful at something, I think obsession has to be part of it.
Yeah.
And,
I get that point, because you know what, doing this content and talking with both you men and women in the sport, we learned that this is a sport about passion. You have to really love it, because one thing is, it's not a lot, unless you are the top 1% in the IFBB. There's not a lot of money in it. Your two have good careers, and your barber, you're working lawns. Right now, I think summer's pretty good for you, Tony. But then when it hits the winter, and so it just kind of falls off a little bit. But you have to have that, because this sport can be, as I talk to some ladies that tell me, it's mentally, physically, financially draining.
Yeah.
And I think one thing with my challenge about y'all ladies, I think it's a lot more harder on y'all women because of society's view of women with muscle. Like, Tony, you're an older gentleman, and you say, hey, wow, Tony, he's a fit guy. Then you look at your wife, say, why your wife got all these muscles? She's trying to be like you. She's trying to be the man in the family. That's the thing.
No, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a passion. You just
Yeah.
have to enjoy it. I don't think if any man is intimidated by that, that's on you.
It
Right.
is.
Exactly.
It is
Exactly.
big time. Big time. We ran into we were in Tampa, this wonderful couple that sat down with us for a little bit. Keisha, was it bodybuilding? She was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
She won the
so
Oprah.
Yeah.
Keisha, yeah, she won the
yeah,
Oprah.
she
Yeah.
wanted to do 40 plus. Yeah, because I got to talk to her. Her and her boyfriend did with the bar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were finished and we were sitting there. We were sitting in the restaurant eating, and they came by and they spoke for just a second. And I had them. I said, "You guys just join us." And they sat there. The four of us sat there for a little over 3 hours and just talked about
Everything.
literally
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. We did talked about everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's so yeah, the drive and the passion, just like Artem and Oksana. There's just, I think it takes a different person to do what we do at this level, specifically at the pro level. Even more, it becomes a lot harder. The challenges are a lot more difficult because the competition it's elite at that level.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
with me, I can walk on and, it's not that bad. But once you get to the pro level, you got the best coming at you.
Yeah.
So
Even in the Masters division,
oh man,
women in the Masters, we're talking, 40, 50, 60.
yeah,
It's amazing because the women have the same drive as I do. We all do. Is trying to put that muscle on later in life and trying to keep that longevity at the same time. So I've had people at the barbershop like, well, how long do you plan on doing this? And I'm like, until the good Lord says I can't do it no more. There is no stop unless you stop it yourself. So unless something happens or the good Lord says it's time to come home, I'm just going to keep doing it because I enjoy it. It's great for your health. You feel better about yourself physically because you're like, oh, okay, I look pretty good. And you challenge yourself. You're off season, you gain a little weight, and then you dial it back in. You got to still keep your workouts to keep building the muscle and doing all the protocols so that next season when you start dieting in, you have a little different structure look that you hope is going to get you, first place, second place, or keep going up the ladder, so to speak, and stuff. Yeah. So it is a little more harder, I think, for us older women than the younger women that don't have to worry about menopause and all that good stuff and the collagen, and is your skin crepey or hanging because you don't get enough volume or muscle to build up to pull the skin back where it needs to be.
Or if you had kids and you had that little stretch marks and stuff like that. Because you had like people like Hunter Henderson, who's like I think she's gonna be 30 this year. Lavinia, I think both Hunter and Lavinia are not even 30 yet. Also Taylor, she's I think she's still in her early 20s.
Yes.
My friend Eunice, she was in the same class together. She won it.
I'm proud of her. Yeah.
I want to shout Eunice while I'm on here. She gave me this. I was wearing this at the bad rap hat, bad rap.
Yes.
And sign ripped and plump. Shout to Eunice. I gotta always shout her out. She's like when the day when she was going to the booth and we talking a couple or maybe a month before, she's trying to get some people to help. I said, you know what? I'm here at home. I'm not doing anything. And I had to quote, I wear my Wilder, my Doc Holliday, I'm in my prime shirt. And and
I noticed that.
Yeah, I was wearing my other Doc Holliday, I'll be a Huckleberry.
Oh yeah.
I kind of play in my head, like I remember that scene from Tombstone. You ever seen Tombstone where Jack's talking to Doc saying, Doc, why are you here? You're almost done deathbed, because he says, Wired Up is my friend. And Jack says, I got plenty of friends, Doc. And Doc says, I don't. And that's why I felt like Eunice said, Eunice Kitchens is my friend. And I don't got plenty of friends. So I came down there and want to help my friend. Because she was so surprised when I came down there. And I was so proud of her. And I appreciate the opportunity. And also meeting people like yourself and also the Peraris and many other competitors. This sport is a sport that I've been following for a long time. I mean, I grew up around by my older brother, he passed away like about 20 years ago. He was a football star here in our hometown. He used to get the muscle mags. You remember back in the day, like Iron Man and Muscle and Fitness and, Flex magazines. And, and growing up, I grew up in the 80s, what was popular cartoons at that time? He-Man and Thundercats. So look at those guys. And then when I got closer to my teenage years, something about you ladies, Viki. Something about them kind of opened up a mind about me, and I just kind of became a particular type of criminal after that. And doing this content, I learned some stuff that there's a lot more to this. Like everyday person looks at bodybuilding. Like me and Dave talked about this, how what can you do to get bodybuilding back on mainstream? Because back in the day, hey, bodybuilding used to be on like NBC, ABC, ESPN, Fox Sports. I was remember when I got to my motel room, I was tired because it was a good train ride. I had 6 hours in Savannah for the train to come here, and then 6 hours back. And when I got to my room, I was tired. I just flipped the TV, and they're showing championship pillow fighting.
What?
Yeah, I learned this about a year ago that there is. I saw some clips on it's on ESPN Ocho, and you're thinking, so you can show cornhole, throwing darts. Well, darts been around for a long time. Pool, okay, bowling. My friend, he bowls, but championship pillow fighting and not bodybuilding. But here's the thing: because of bodybuilding's reputation, everybody looks at body because of the use of performance enhancing steroids, and you work on you natural, but that's a different level compared to what's in the NPC right now.
Right.
But it's so easy to point at that. But every sports use it in one form or another. I do content on boxing and MMA, and I know fighters who've been busted for using it. There's been the whole thing where we used to go when they had that whole congressional hearing about baseball. Guys like Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, and a lot of those other guys got busted. But because bodybuilding, because it's such an extreme sport, because and often you had some ladies that passed away just recently, but those weren't because of steroids. The young lady who passed away at the Arnold Classic, she was on a diuretic, and that's one thing that can give you dehydration. But it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding because it's such an extreme sport, and it's not as mainstream as others.
Yeah.
Well, people, there's a natural prejudice to that thing because they automatically assume the enhancers, automatically assume gear use. And that's for any of them, even no bigger than we are. There's been people who make comments on social media about, well, yeah, you're using too much. What'd you do? Shoot yourself in the brain with it or something? But the whole thing is, that is a total, I hate using the word ignorance, but
what it is.
It is because the enhancers do one thing for the sport of bodybuilding. It allows faster recovery. That's it. It doesn't build muscle. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't do any of that. The muscle growth and strength comes from the appropriate amount of rest. What that does, it does enhance your ability to recover. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because I've seen people run it. We both have, and I'm sure you have too at this point. They actually
look the same.
Yeah.
They don't have no muscle, no definition because they don't diet. They don't
train,
they don't train right. They're too busy doing bro lifting. And so anybody that does all the hard work and doesn't have any gear or uses very little, the first thing they're gonna say, oh, you look good, you're using gear, you're using this. And it's like, no, take that out of the equation. You could look just as good as me if you did all the proper work, but you're taking all this stuff and you're just like a balloon, and so you're picking on somebody else because you can't do the diet. And we all know the diet is 90% of how the bodybuilders get on stage and look and stuff. And that's the one thing a lot of people can't control. That's why Ozempic's just shot off of the market. It makes you not eat. So that's the world's new pill of like, hey, I can't stop eating, so I want something to make me stop eating instead of just saying I got mind control. Like, like David Goggins, your mind, strengthen it, harden it, callous it, do it. Tell yourself to do it and just stop eating and eat the right foods, get out and train, and you got to do it yourself. And those are the people that are a little more weak-minded that just can't, like A personalities, we set our mind to it. It's going to get done whether it kills us or not. Moving a truck or something by yourself, pushing it, we're going to do it because we already told ourselves, I'm moving this stuff and I'm not going to let nothing stop me until I achieve it.
I think most people, like I'm telling you right now, I'm a person who's on Mounjaro because I have issues with my cholesterol. And I do eat smart, but then the thing is food is a temptation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And here's my story was because I was dealing with my mom's situation. I was almost 500 pounds.
Wow.
And after the day she died, I saw a picture of myself sitting in a chair at the after the services. I looked and said, dang, I didn't think I got big. I'm still a big dude, but I'm right now sitting at 406 because it takes a lot. And the thing is, I'm not treating me like y'all because there's so much temptation, but I try to be smart. And the thing is that some people, you got to really say, you know what, you're going to have those days, we're going to fight those demons. Say, like, you will see that little kid saying, like, I don't want it. I don't like that episode of SpongeBob when you see the water. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I want it.
Right.
You have to make those choices, and they're going to be difficult for anybody. It's not easy, but unless you're willing to make those choices, make those sacrifices, you just can't be talking about somebody else. So, folks, while we got them both here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump into social media. We want to check them out. The links are in the description of this live. You want to follow them, ask questions, reach out, support these men and women sport of bodybuilding. That's why I always suggest. But guys, and there's no offense to either one of you, and I know most of you guys are here. You're here to watch the ladies, and I know you guys. You get excited when you see these ladies all pumped up and built. But guys, I respect this lady and her husband. No D pics. Stop it. Get some help, and not even for Tony either, because I've heard that even there's the guys who go after the guys who got muscles too. You guys not my flavor, but I know there's guys out there who's into it. So, folks, we're going to jump into social media for you. You want to follow the links in the description of this live. And look at you here. And who's this lovely couple here, right here?
That's my son and daughter.
Oh, so those are your two babies.
Yes, my two babies, 120 and my son is 35. That was at their wedding. That was my little grandbaby.
Oh, you're such a cute, just your little babies. I know you're proud. You're proud. You raised a boy and you raised your girl, and now they're adults and they're taking care of themselves and starting families.
Yes.
Have they ever came to your shows and supported you?
They did. Matter of fact, let me see, it was 2018. I actually went up and did the Jay Cutler up in Boston. I did a show up there and they were able to come to my show and see it. And my daughter's been to one of my very first show my daughter came to. And matter of fact, this year I had her do my music for my songs for my routine because she's a singer. So I kind of bribed her into doing a song for me so I could have that with her voice.
Oh, that's so sweet. I know you love your little girl. She's so proud of you. And Tony, you have any kids?
Yeah, I have one son. Yeah,
how old is he?
He's 35, same age Vic's son is.
Yeah, and is he ever interested in following Dad's footsteps? Do you ever, get into bodybuilding or even join the service?
No, he was in the Army. He's out now. He's working in a guard status, but he was in the Army 7th Special Forces Group. So, yeah.
I know you have arguments, talking about the Army. Y'all just be cleaning up behind the Marine Corps, and they're telling the Marines y'all eat crayons.
I've always heard the eat crayon thing. Matter of fact, one time a guy left me like 2 or 3 crayons on my desk at work. But but yeah,
I have relatives said that
Oh yeah. He's not really interested in it. As a matter of fact, since he's no longer on active service, he's kind of gotten a dad bod a little bit. So
yeah, it happens. I have my I have my youngest nephew and he's kind of my sister's youngest child and my sister's oldest daughter. They was in the military, and we get out of that lifestyle. It's hard trying to find your footing again. It is. And here she is. Here she is. She won your pro card. You won double pro cards. And you got an amazing body.
Yeah, it took a lot of pain to look that good emotionally. Because boy, I'll tell you, after that show though, I did the one big boo-boo everybody says not to do, and that was I loaded up on every carb under the sun. We got off the stage late. We went and got a super large pizza. I ate half of it. We had peace, love, and little donuts there in Pittsburgh. I ate almost every one except a bite from each one. I had acid reflux all night. The next day I woke up and I felt like I had a hangover from all that sugar. I just jacked my pancreas up.
Right.
And
Oh
my
God.
ankles filled up. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. So as we tell other people, if they get into show, do not stop you drinking your water. Keep your water going in even after the show if you want to have your desserts and all that stuff. But watch your food and don't overdo all carbohydrates because you will hold water really bad. It was a lesson well learned that I never did again.
Yeah,
I
that
heard
one
quite
there.
a few stories.
That's
Go
from
ahead.
this morning.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was as one guy said, hey, he goes, if you're going to wear something that like Ronnie
Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman wear, you got to say, yeah, baby.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, lightweight, the
Yeah,
great
buddy.
Mr. Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia. You know, good. I'm glad he's doing better now. He was going to go to Atlanta Pro, but because of what he went through with sepsis, you know, he has to take some time off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean, you know, he
Oh, yeah.
he put his body through a lot. I gotta get that man that. I mean, he's
Yeah,
still here
yeah.
standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, this is about bodybuilding. It's about consistency, dedication, practice. Here she's a little picture from when she was at the Max Fit. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow. I mean, what was the critique from the judges? What did they tell you?
I need to bring my back, get it thicker, and bring in bigger quad sweeps and get tighter and a little bigger in the glutes and the hamstrings.
And what about you, Tony? What was your critique?
I need to bring up my arms and chest from the front, just go elbow to elbow, so to speak, and widen up my back a little bit and just really work on conditioning my abs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want that great physique. You want, the overall work on your strength as much as your weaknesses. This is a picture that I have this on on my social media. We have here a lady I've interviewed, the lovely Miss Wendy Gronk Wilson.
Yeah.
We have here, I think that's Tori Mahan, also Barbara Mojin, Miss Audrey, Keisha, Christine Ware. A pleasure having her on here. Also, there goes you and Chris Coy. I mean, lovely ladies of maturity.
Those Brazilian women had such beautiful muscles. Oh my gosh, I was so envied with their muscles. I was like, man, I wish I had shoulders half their size.
Zama Traps is crazy. I didn't get to see her up close. I did see Lavinia because she was taking pictures afterwards, but Zama is just crazy. She just, I don't know how, she might do well depending on how Italian Sarah come in, because you're always going to be number one and number two.
Yes.
In top two. I got to talk with Sharonica. She's lovely. She's a great person. I got to talk to Ashley Jones. I mean, she's a great, amazing person. One person I'm a fan of, and I can't help myself because she's just so beautiful. I'm addicted to her, and that is the lovely Mrs. Andrea Shaw.
Oh my God,
I just love her. I just love her.
I love her too.
She's my girlfriend. But I got a problem. I got one problem I want to share with you. This man right here, he's my brother. I love David, but he has my girl. I'm sorry.
He gets in all the pictures, doesn't he?
I'm supposed to let that go. But I don't care about Whitney. I don't care about anything. But he's handling my girl. But David, my brother, I love you. But I'm sorry.
I'm trying to take her from you.
Try to take my girl. I mean, this is why I love Eunice, because she did this for me. And often I said this, ladies I've become friendly with, we have conversations, send me stuff here and there. I appreciate that. But Eunice, she sent me a great gift. And I often, my other half, like I said, if you get us something, never do it for free. And often, like these little things, I call it a payment. This was 2023 when she was at Olympia. And Eunice got this issue of, I always have to bring it up because this is like my trophy to me.
Yeah.
And, and she saw Andrea, and Andrea signed it for me.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
I'm here. Some people say how nice and good person she is, and I would love to have her on here. If I see her, I'm gonna ask her, "Will you marry me?" So, I think she's just a person.
Right.
That's the thing you get with this industry, though, is everybody they're elite level athletes, super competitive, But at the same time, you're also looking at people who are the most congenial individuals. They're selfless with their time, and and it's just they're always willing to talk. They're always willing to sit down and just share whatever. I mean, like that time we sat down with Keisha and her boyfriend for over 3 hours. I don't think there was a subject that we did not cover, and
it's like you knew them forever almost.
Yeah, and
you could just sit down and have conversations of everything.
Right. I mean, and that's the energy in this industry is you don't really meet a stranger at all. Because the rapport is instant. You might have to tell each other your name or remind each other who you are, but apart from that, I mean, the chemistry is instant, the rapport is instant, and so it just kind of takes off by itself. And I think that just it's because of the appreciation of the sport. All of us recognize the dedication and the amount of work that it takes to do this. I mean, it's also, and it's that amount of work and dedication that it takes that keep a lot of people from even doing it. I mean, it's not, more than anything about the physical part, it's mental. I mean, it gets past discipline. It's how much grit do you have? What's your intestinal fortitude like? Just how hard can you push? I mean, we got solid critiques back from the judge, and we did well at the shows, but at the same, and although you celebrate those moments, you still take a step back. If you want to keep going like we do, you still take a step back and you go, okay, that was great. That felt good. That looked good. But what can we do better? What can we improve on the next time? Do I need to be bigger here, be in better condition? All of those questions get asked. And we bounce ourselves off each other all the time too.
Yeah.
So, because we're both thinkers, Vic's real creative with the way she thinks. I'm more of a linear thinker. So, she really helps me a lot just kind of thinking outside the box, because I'll get driven in one specific direction. And if I don't get somebody to go, hey, pay attention over here, it's like I'll miss something. So, so she steps in, but, there's just a passion that really drives this that I think everyone involved understands and they recognize that.
Yeah, like being there, like I got to meet some people, like I said again, some up and comers. Derek Longford, he came by to and talk a good bit. I didn't know that guy was that short. I know
I know he is.
I'm like maybe this much taller than him. I didn't realize that. But he's a big dude. I gotta give him that. And I met got to talk to Bob Ciccarello a little bit, and I saw Isabel, and Isabel, you gotta try to look her straight in the eye. I'm trying to look her straight in the eye.
Right.
Yeah.
I even
Looking at all the time.
I mean, I
even had a hard time doing it myself. So
I mean, I feel like I might even go like Rocky Balboa with those things. I mean, I just I mean, I asked her, she's thinking about coming back. I said, yeah, she's thinking about it, but no, she's. But it was an experience for me. Now, with some people I've met that, I can do without. I remember a true story with me. It was my first boxing show I went to was 2022 with Savannah Pro. And I met Donna Salee, and we were talking, had a good conversation. Some other ladies I met, one person particularly, I don't say her name on here because I call her name, I did not speak. And me and Don were taking the pictures together at the back, or it was still the Wing Strength booth. And then she said like, "Oh, I got to take a picture." So, I can sometimes this is me with me, being I can gauge people and sense something about them. That some people they're genuine, I can feel it. Other people, I can say you're bullshit.
Right.
And that person, she's bullshit. But people like yourself, who are genuinely good people, who are a couple who love the sport, have a passion for it. I enjoy talking to couples, even though I'd rather be just me and Viki together, just keep telling me, but I enjoy when y'all share your passion for your contrast of being a couple. Like, here's the thing as I talk about bodybuilding, the sport has evolved over time. The look, the size divisions, now you have a new division coming up. Excuse me. I even a couple ladies who competed there, but I understand
Same.
that there's a purpose, there's a reason for it. But again, you're bringing something that's just going to end up evolving, like how women's bodybuilding evolved, physique evolved, how men's classes evolved. Even you guys in the board shorts, y'all have evolved.
Big time.
Yeah, like, and also I said this, like for the women, for you, for most of you, Tony, I know you have your expenses because you have to eat more. You're not a men's open, but you still have to work on your size and condition just as much as those guys in the higher end. And Viki, for y'all ladies, your expense is show day because your suit's right there. That's your cost.
Yeah.
You travel to the shows. You're doing open. You're not doing open. You're doing masters where you have to pay what I think was the fee for the last time one show was like $200. I think $300 depending on the class. Because I was talking to Kim Kim G, and she wanted to do 40, but she just said, "Well, I just do 45." But she did open. That's pretty good.
Yeah. They actually this year the costs seem to have gone down a little bit. So that it was a surprise when we did register for the show because they weren't as much as last year.
NPC way cheaper than the pro classes, but you
guys are still cheaper though too.
Because I remember when I first went pro, a pro didn't have to pay to be in a show. And then all of a sudden it came where pros started having to pay to go in shows.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they were like, oh, we're missing out on money on these pros. So because before when you were a pro, you did your time and you wanted the people to come in and see you. So you didn't have to pay. You just signed up for your classes and went and did the show. And then that all changed like just shortly the year after I went pro. It changed where I was like, And then I was like, well, they don't really, and I love the Max Fit. I'm going to shout out to him. He gives the best goodies and he such loves the competitors. And I really hope his show gets bigger and bigger every year because literally I feel he gives out almost $300 in goodies to each competitor, NPC and pros.
Right.
And, yes, they only paid the top one, but he gave out such good stuff because he wants to let the competitors know, I am glad you came here. Your first show or not, we support you. We love having you here. We want to show our gratitude for you guys to come to our show out of anybody else's. So he gives really good little goodie bags. I mean, we got backpacks and full supplements and T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. And at other shows I've gone to, I've gotten a button and that was it. Not even a T-shirt, not even showing it at a pro level that you are worthy to even come to my show. It's like, oh, no, you don't get a shirt. Here's your button. That's all you get.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess you don't, you only want to maybe favor just the top Olympians and not, masters, or whatever. But so I like to go give kudos to the ones that really love the competitors and really want to let them know, hey, I'm behind you. I love that you love bodybuilding. Let's try to get more people involved, more people loving women with muscles. Like you said, get it out, maybe on these TVs or I don't know, maybe we have to start doing something stupid like these wrestling, how they have a lot of drama back in the days with the wrestling. Maybe the women need to do that in bodybuilding for the masters just to get people going, oh, do you hear that drama? Quick, let's go watch them go do their thing. I'm like, who knows?
I think that because, right now, there's a drama between Sarah Vilgas and Taya Cuejo. And people like that because I grew up with wrestling, like Hulk Hogan talking about or the Macho Man talking about the cream of the crop, she's going to be somewhere. And that's the thing that I think really, if it's not the heads of the NPC and also if it's not the athletes really talking up, because as you know, last weekend was the Atlanta Pro, and me being a fan of women's bodybuilding, being a fan of that division for a long time, seeing that there was only 4 women technically. Because I had the pleasure of interviewing Michelle Brent. There was her return after taking like a few years off. Clemson Henderson, Patty Henson, and Holly Jordan. And I was kind of disappointed. But with some of the ladies, some just did the Masters earlier that week, so it wasn't gonna be ready. But there was a couple ladies that did the Masters Olympia in Japan, and still there was that figure pedal, but that's a different level of muscle. But then, like I said, like people like Keisha, maybe Barbara Mojan, a couple others could have jumped in. People talk about how, we'll wait till the summer, but then the summer is about over. And you only have so few shows because, this year, Women's Physique, you lost some shows.
Yeah.
Legion is, they kicked out both women's physique and figure. The Daytona did the same thing.
Yeah.
And Jack Tatone. He last year he was warning ladies that if there's not enough women for the Omaha, we're gonna kick out Omaha, and he already did it with because I know Rika Jones, as I call her, the Iron Woman. Dun, 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 dun. Did both Tupelo and Texas, and she was the last champion for women's physique at the St. Louis Pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We Russell Messi, he's the one that promoted Max Fit. And this was our second year doing that show. And like she was talking about, the amount of swag that they give is crazy. Last year they gave out hoodies, zip up hoodies to all the competitors, and part of those were embroidered. So that's a lot more money than just handing out a simple hoodie. But they also had iron-on patches on the wrist. They had a different one for IFBB and a different one for NPC. So we all didn't get the same thing. But he puts a lot of money into athletes. And we've already talked to Russell and Clay, who's the other one that produces a lot of the show, with him about we're going to work with them next year on sponsoring a women's bodybuilding class. And Clay said that he had already done that and already paid like $12,000 to the IFBB to have one for this show, but because the Atlanta Pro was the same weekend.
Yeah.
And Linda Murray's going to trump everybody.
She is. Yeah.
And that's what happened. And so they said, you can still do it, but just not this weekend. So they're planning on doing that next year. And so we're going to, help them in whatever way, because I also talked about making financial contributions for it to help them put on the class.
Yeah.
And we're talking to Russ about it. And I mean, they're gung-ho about promoting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great because I think a lot of competitors were doing we're doing the Masters Olympia, and now next year there's not going to have it, so that means that's the opportunity because there's so few show opportunities especially in Florida, for women's bodybuilding other than the Tampa show.
Right.
I think it's just if I could do it, I would love to. If I can afford to do it, I'd love to promote the women's bodybuilding division, maybe in Texas. It was going to have a Texas. This year, but then certain things happened. This is one thing I did. I said I'm not going to be outraged anymore when I hear a promoter drop women's bodybuilding from the show, because the fact is, this is y'all division. Y'all should fight for it. Y'all complaining about not having enough shows, but if you don't show up, what do you expect them to do? I mean,
exactly.
Maybe me for a while, me being too passionate, but I realized, you got to pull back your passion, realize this is a money thing. It's about, because paying these fees is a lot. Some of these promoters, they have to dig in the pocket. If they're lucky enough to get, someone to sponsor the division. If you're one of my favorite people of all time, he's the man who saved women's bodybuilding. Jake, I got to do it every time I say his name. Yo, Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. I can't help it every time I see his name. Mr. Jake Wood.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, big time. It's just that, and it's just with bodybuilding. With my friend, he's a shout out to my brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. He's doing all right now. He had surgery a while back. He told me like this: sometimes you have to steal for Peter to pay Paul to compete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to drag the balance across there for sure.
Yeah.
But anything we can do to promote the muscle side of the sport for women, we do. We feel like that's, a lot of our calling in this, besides us competing ourselves, just really push that. Because I see her train, and you can tell by watching the other female competitors, you don't look like that unless you're just busting your ass in the gym 9 ways to Sunday, day in and day out. And then there's the diet part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get that look doing 10 Zumba classes a week.
Yeah.
Okay. That take you have to literally throw around the weights. And I've seen her walk around the gym. I mean, she carries her own 45-pound weights and loads up her own machines, like all the rest of those women do.
Yeah.
So for me, there's a lot of admiration for women who have the grit and the focus and determination to just build that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not demeaning any other categories, but it takes a different thought process and a different woman to compete in physique in bodybuilding
with more muscle mass.
because
Yeah,
you're
it
not
does.
going to roll off the street and step into that class
Right.
at all.
Yeah, it's not easy. Like especially when I said about women, because you
Yeah.
really, I think, especially society's views of women muscle, it kind of offends some people's sense of seeing women like Viki, who's like she's mature, that she got all these muscles. But then again, it's about being an athlete and finding your goals and growing. Like, and I said that the cost of it again, because for you guys, Tony, all you gotta do is put on a pair of banana hammers and boy shorts and some tanning. That's it. I know your wife, she has to get herself done, gotta get doll up, get her hair done, get her makeup done. She has to look party because you have to walk that fine line both of muscularity and also femininity, and that's tough to do.
Yeah.
And I tell you what's funny about you bringing that up. This year, and I don't know if they had it last year. If they did, I did not notice it, but and picked it up in Tampa. Now, when guys are taking in to get their tans, they have facial makeup for dudes. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding because when I walked up to do my tan, because we tanned on different days because we competed on different days, so we didn't tan at the same time. And I walked up and gave my name, and she goes, "So you're doing what division?" I said, "Men's Physique." She goes, "Okay, so y'all going to join us for the little man thing?" And I'm like, "What?" I had no clue what she was talking about. And she goes, "We have makeup artists for guys to blend in all you." I'm like, No. I'm not doing that. You guys can spray my face tomorrow morning when I come back in for my final touch up. You're not putting base on my face. You're not putting rouge or any other bullshit on my face.
Where you come from Tony to Pretty Tony. It's like remember in the to quote my man, the late great Charlie Murphy, how he talked about that Skip from Sparrow Show when he talked about how back in the 80s, the dudes that looked most like a bitch was the one pulling the women, like Prince, David Bowie.
Those
guys.
All the hair bands in the 80s. They all had bigger.
When I was there, guess who was there?
David Lee Roth.
Yes, came by. I was like, this is true story. This is what blew my mind about this.
Yeah.
I went to that little area where they were like the press area. I was charging up my phones and stuff. I was talking to some people. Then I was going back to the booth because there was that Friday, and I was staying for a few more hours, and I was going to go back home. Right. So I seen this old guy sitting here with his wife. I didn't pay attention to it at first. So I'm sitting at the booth, and I'm looking at my phone, doing some stuff, and just talking with Eunice. And next thing you know, this man's coming down the aisle, and my head just like, where am I looking at? He smiled. I said, "Oh my God, I know who that is." And my brain works kind of like a computer. It's like accessing, facial recognition program, pulling up. And then I realized when I saw who it was, David Lee Roth, Diamond Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the biggest celebrity I ever met. Next to the time I saw Alphabet at Disney World, that was like 20-some years ago. He talked to us, and he's a big bodybuilding fan because he said that remember Kay Baxter was his trainer back in the day. She was remember she was the California Girls. Van Halen. What really you thinking like? What like me wouldn't know about Van Halen? What crossed them over was when Eddie played the synthesizer in Jump. Jump used to get played in like early in the morning, like in our urban market radio stations here, and it crossed over. Jump, Hot the Teacher, Panama. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I used to watch it. Get for like me and my brother and my nephews, like Friday nights with Friday night videos. Used to come out. We didn't have MTV. We used to start thinking MTV to move to town and got cable. And we used to watch those rock stars and rap stars come together. I grew up in the 80s, and I was I'm eclectic music. I like different kinds. I even used to watch Hee Haw. One of my favorites was He'll Despair at Agony on Me.
That gives me nightmares, man. My parents used to watch that, and I just
I used to love it.
Well, I tell you what, they'd go from that to Lawrence Welk.
Well, had the baby there, but people listen to the music and bounce to the balls.
Orchestra and shit.
But
when you walk through, that's what they would hear. But when you go, that's what they would watch. But when you go to my room, as soon as you open the bedroom door, the very first thing you see is a big giant picture of Gene Simmons from Kiss. So that just erased that hee-haw and that Lawrence Welk in a hurry.
Yeah. That thing is that it's just a culture thing. But yeah, I think about this. It was a great experience for me in
It
being
was.
there.
It
I
was.
mean, I'm hoping to do it again in the future because you know what, Eunice, I want to help her out. She's a great person. Her and JoJo, what they did, you know, put up the prize money for women's bodybuilding, a nice jacket for Lavinia. I mean, they also did it a while back at the triple O, where they give the winners and women's bodybuilding winners in figure, you know, jackets. They really are really doing something, and that's what I want. That's one of my challenge about promoting y'all ladies because y'all don't get enough recognition. Me, guys like me, David, female body challenge, guy named Kalio, hardcore female body fitness. This man has a friend of mine. His name's KL. He's more a fan of women muscle, not so much about the sport, because this sport is so much risk and little reward. If you're the lucky few who can crack and get your Olympic qualification, like as you know, tomorrow I'm gonna have to do my panel. Robin Mays, she's gonna make her first Olympia. I mean, amazing lady. I interviewed her a couple years back. She has done pretty good herself. You know, you know, she's a great lady. Can't believe she's 59 years old. I wouldn't think she was 59.
Right.
I was, you know,
Yeah.
some of you ladies, you know, y'all just. When I interviewed a while back, a lady, her name Rebecca Woody. She competed. The last time she competed was 2 years ago. She was 74. She's 76 now.
Yeah.
And this sport can really, you know, really give you longevity, especially if you do the right things.
Yes.
Right.
You know, yesterday was also birthday of Miss Olympia, 10-time Miss Olympia, Iris Kyle. She just turned
man.
51.
Yeah.
I mean, just still looks amazing.
Yeah. It's the longevity.
Yeah, it is. There's this one doctor that we followed occasionally. She calls muscle the longevity organ. And it is. The more you have, the better your body, the stronger your immune system is, the more you find off chronic illness, chronic disease. It just a lot goes into it. And, you know, we shape our physiques and we train because we like to compete, but we also, our health is from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Vic is an herbalist. She focuses a lot on holistic remedies and holistic applications. And we don't, and I used to work in an ER, but we don't go by Western medicine as it's prescribed today. We do the Eastern medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, you know, and we're a lot healthier because of it. You know, not just the training, but also just the way we eat, the supplements and stuff we use. And just like this morning, we went and bought milk, yogurt, but the milk we buy, we don't get from a grocery store.
Mm.
We get from a local farm.
We get the raw milk.
It is raw
A2 cow
milk from an A2 cow, because there are different types of cows. And a lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah, and the enzymes are different.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's no, just like the lactose. A lot of people are lactose intolerant. All the milk you buy in stores, what makes the lactose so bad is the amount of sugar that's in it. Because by the time milk gets to the store, it's basically water and powdered milk. That's all it is. It's not even real milk.
Pasteurized, everything's, all the nutrition's taken out and they're dumping more in there, which is all, you know, chemical, vitamin D, chemical this, chemical calcium and stuff. And it's not even real anymore.
No.
And it's because the government can control what goes out there. So anything raw, you know, as we all have to say, if you buy anything that's not human consumption,
they actually have to tell you
it's
that.
on your own, and they have to tell you that. And I'd say half the stuff in the grocery store is not human consumptionable, but they sell it. They sell the chemicals in all the cereal, all the processed stuff, all the preservatives, everything's like, they always have to recall something because there always has a problem with bacteria, this and that. Their chicken's not even chicken anymore. We don't even buy meat from the store because every time we got it, it was rancid.
Yeah.
So we're like, no, we're not even going there. We're doing all farmers that where we live out in the country. We get our own beef. We eat beef all the time. We get farm fresh eggs. You don't wash your farm fresh eggs. You leave them coated, not dirty, but they stay longer. They can. All the European countries sell eggs are on the shelf, not in a fridge.
Yeah.
So does Mexico, because I found that out a while back. They do the same thing because they take it from, they don't, because of one thing about America, we're afraid of, you know, salmonella poisoning or the kind of viruses. It's America's very kind of you know, what's the word to say?
But
just too cautious or kind of like it's the back of my head. The
They're
word
paranoid.
is. Bit of that, yeah, bit of that. And yeah, because I grew up, my family was sharecroppers. My mother and father worked, farms and everybody else. And one time my sister told me how they had my oldest brother, my father's son, because my parents were together for 55 years, even though my dad was living in New Jersey the last 30 of it, and we were still in North Carolina. They were still married legally. And she told me a story how my father's oldest son, from his previous relationship, he bought a little runt pig to my brothers and sisters, and they raised it. And next thing you know, the pig was gone. And what it was, the pig was dinner. My sister said she could not eat pork for that rest of those months because they raised that pig and they loved it. And I'm seeing like my uncles and my aunts, they raise hogs and kill them and other animals. I grew with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can see now you're getting this food's got more processed. Your chicken leg look like a turkey leg. I
Yeah.
mean, you're looking now, the kids are eating stuff. You're getting boys about tall as a LeBron James and girls who got boobs like Dolly Parton. And they're
Yes.
12 years old. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, it is too
Well,
processed. But
Picked all
the
those
thing
hormones
is,
in them. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the issues with stuff like salmonella doesn't have anything to do with just getting raw farm products. It has to do with, for one thing, being over processed and over pasteurized, but also sitting out in warehouses way too long before it actually makes it to the grocery store shelves. Most people don't realize eggs set in a warehouse between 6 to 9 to 10 weeks before it in hot warehouses, not air conditioned, before they even make it to the grocery store. So you're buying something that has had the temperature changed on it 2 or 3 times, extreme temperature. Because if set in a warehouse, the egg's gonna be sweating, and then when it gets there, a lot of times when you open up the egg cartons in the grocery store, there is a little bit of condensation on it, and it's because the thing just got baked in the warehouse, and then they stick it in the grocery store.
And all the processed it.
And all the like the milk and stuff we bought today, which we've bought before, the first time you take a drink out of it, you can tell an immediate difference. It's a lot smoother, and it has all the natural milk fats that are naturally part of it. So it's a creamier thing. Because if you walk in the grocery store and you look at the milk, any of it, especially the stuff that's 0 fat or 2% fat or 1%, this much of the top of it is clear. It's nothing but water.
Mhm.
Because like she said, any so-called vitamin C, calcium, vitamins, anything they put in it, it's all fake.
Yeah.
Because they've over pasteurized the crap out of it. So what you're buying is not even real milk anymore.
And here's
And they do have to tell you before, and it's insane. They have to tell you before you purchase it, and there's even tags on some of it that it's not for human consumption. I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, just like all of our families, generations previous to us being alive, like what the hell did they eat this entire time?
Yeah.
They were going out and milk. I mean, all of us had generations behind us whose families were going out and they were grabbing the udder of a cow, and that's where they were getting their milk for the day.
Yeah.
They're getting in the chicken coops and they're grabbing their eggs for the day.
Yeah.
Or they go out and they take down a cow or a pig.
And the funny thing is, I haven't touched dairy in probably 40 years.
Same.
Because every time I did, I'd go into these coughing fits, and then I'd get the slime
Mucus.
running down, the mucus down the back of your throat because it caused so much allergic reactions.
Wow.
I had to give it up, and I can't do ice cream, cheeses, because it causes a lot of mucus issues with my sinuses. And I said, well, you know what? The more research I did about the A2 and how it affects the human body compared to the A1 and what they sell in the stores, and being more of a raw form, since we have tried it, I have not had any mucus buildup whatsoever, any reaction to it. So I like to make myself a guinea pig. So I'm like, well, I'm going to try it. I don't know, because I wasn't 100% sure about it. But once I researched and then said, I'm going to try it and see, and then just waited to see, I was like, okay, no mucus, no reactions, no bloating, no feeling like, constantly like I had to clear my throat or something. None of that has happened since we've gotten and tried the raw milk from the A2 cows.
Yeah, I hadn't drank milk once. I feel like ice cream and cheese. It's like saying you like peach cobbler but don't like peaches.
Right.
But yeah, that's one thing I kind of pull back on certain things. I still like certain things to eat. Like I just like this afternoon, me and my nephew, we did the laundry. He took me out and went over, got a few things because it's about the end of the month. I usually want to get stack up a couple of things for, and
Right.
yeah, it's just, and that's the thing about it. Food is an important part of a bodybuilding process. It both can be a weapon and tool. Like after the show, this is a question I ask you, ladies and gentlemen. After the show, what was that thing that you wanted the most, especially after being that long prep and that food is calling? It's calling your name, baby. It's calling your name.
You know what it is?
What?
Breakfast. I want waffles. I want pancakes. I want eggs Benedict. And then, bacon on the side and an English muffin. And I will eat all that at one breakfast sitting right after prep.
Yeah.
After
That
the show's
carbs.
done.
Yeah.
Those carbs
It's
should be
large.
calling.
They look at it like we're nuts. They're like, you can eat all that? We're like, I'm going to. I might not be able to move for an hour, but I'm going to eat it.
You'd be telling Tony, push me out the door, just roll me over.
He's just as bad.
We've been in restaurants where they will bring, because we when we go to breakfast like that, we literally order 2 entrees a piece. It's going to be pancakes or waffles or French toast. So you're going to have the kind of the sweet, and then there's going to be the savory part where it's going to be the bacon and eggs and hash browns. We will both order one of each, and the servers, especially if they're not all waiters, the whoever's dropping off the food, they're coming over there with 4 plates or 4.5 plates of food, and it's just 2 of us. They're like, did the other party get up and go to the bathroom? They're like, no, it's all our food. Just set it down. So, and we'll plow the plates. I mean, they're freaking empty. We don't. And a lot of times we'll like this past time. We'll order extra bacon, apart from what comes with it. So,
and then we pop right back onto clean eating.
Yeah,
like okay, that's good. We're back to our regular scheduled meal.
Yeah. Speaking of the devil here, my man KL the Wanderer, he's also his content. He says, "Good evening, people. Good evening, brother." Also, he says, "I learned that they put pork in most of everything from bread to cakes. There's a lot of stuff we not aware of." Yeah, because the place I used to work where I got my heart attack was Smithfield. They were the biggest, especially North Carolina, the biggest, processed pork distributors around. I remember one time we had this little incident happen. Some fecal matter got in some of the meat, so they shut down everything. Have to clean the machines over again. I mean, it was like almost we were on a break for about a good 3 hours before we get back to work, and then we had, it was over because it took so much time. I remember one time when this was my first time working, I had to work in an area where we could wash down the hogs, and I had this my lab coat, my clothes were sucking like water and blood. My mom told me throw in the washing machine. She do some peroxide on it, and it was okay. But yeah, I think that's one thing about this. It's like, anyway, but right now you say you work coaching yourself before. Y'all working with a coach now, or it's just still y'all two just working each other?
We used a coach running into Tampa. Vic and I, because we're mass wise, we're not the biggest. We usually come in about the middle mass wise, so we usually rely on we can both achieve a pretty high level of conditioning. We use that to offset our lack of mass. And but this coach we had last time, he's actually one of the best minds in bodybuilding. Everybody knows who he is, and but he likes to push a lot of food. Kept trying to fill us out, and what it did, it kind of blew us both out of the water. We're a little bit blurry, even though we managed to pull out some top fives in this, we were still blurry. And so after that,
and it caused a lot of sinus issues too, because a lot of gluten and a lot of fries and burgers just really caused hectic stuff on our for 2 weeks. So I was like, I can't do this. It's just too much toxicity. My body's not used to having a couple times. First it was like twice a week, and then it was close to the show. And at the show we had it like almost twice a day, of the same food and burgers and fries and stuff. And it's like, I am so burnt out. I don't want this no more. And again, like you said, kind of spilt over. Because we always we have a certain look we like. And I know a coach always just tries to learn you and just like, okay, well, I want to make sure you got enough fill. And I get that, but it just wasn't quite the look we really wanted.
Right.
And stuff. And when you look at the pictures after and see them, you're like, oh yeah. And then we did comparison, which when we took it into our own hands, changed the diet completely, added some healthier stuff and got rid of a lot of carbs. We didn't even do carbs. We definitely didn't even carb up. We just used healthy fats to do it. And the comparison from both shows, we looked so much tighter
in just 2 weeks.
And really lost a little volume, but the look was a just much crisper, better look. So when I do a side by side from each show, even though they're only about a week and a half to 2 weeks apart, you could see a difference of that. So
we dried out a lot.
You know, we love to take coaches and just pick and take that knowledge and go, okay, this worked for me. This did not work for me. Okay, a different coach maybe down the road or something. This might work for me. That might not work for me. The same with my very first coach. Did a great job when I went pro, had an off season. He blew me up to where I was almost 170 pounds. And then when it was time to come on prep, he decided, didn't run the same diet that I had to go pro. He decided, I'm going to run you with no carbs, and completely just ran me awful. And I had this really just awful look on myself. Most people say, you looked great. I'm like, yeah, but you're not, I want to be here. I don't want to, you might say, oh, you look good here. You're like, no, I want to look good here. So we're so hard on ourselves.
You want to be the upper stratosphere. And also think, I remember men and women are often built like women, because especially you have kids, women, you have more of a higher BMI. You hold fat more in areas like your chest, your hips, everything else. Men, we are
the worst area.
We're more built lean. We can, like, when I lost weight, I remember one time I lost some weight, and my sister said, "You lost more weight than I did." Well, because we have natural testosterone, or we can burn it a lot faster compared to women,
right?
Because and I think the thing is that I think each different coach needs to really work. Like, some coaches give the same kind of cookie cutter plan. But it doesn't work when, especially comes to women. You have to be like some ladies who I've talked to told me, I love this coach because he understands my biology, he understands this. We talk about this. Some coaches will slap you with this. Hey, take this, take that, eat that. You really have to be well-rounded as a coach, understand the factors of what's growing for an athlete. So, like in your training, when you're in the gym, what's that training say? I love it doing today. I'm so happy. And then one say, shit, well, I got to do it.
I don't like doing chest. Chest is my worst thing I like to work out. Believe it or not, I don't know why. I just do not like doing chest. I guess maybe it breaks down. I got a little tear from a car wreck years ago when I was high school. So I do have, it looks like a little deformity because the chest muscle ripped off from the sternum. So it's a little deformed on one side. But for some reason, I just never really enjoyed chest. But every other body part, I love. Shoulders are my favorite. Legs, I love to demolish legs, glutes, and hamstrings. I want it where I can barely walk downstairs or sit on the toilet.
I'm going to say this. Anytime I get to hear when ladies tell me you love leg day, I say to you, Viki, you are a sick freak. You are a mutant. You are a masochist. What about you, Mr. Tony? What do you like to do?
I actually love training, all of it. Back in I like training back and shoulders are my favorite. Of course, that's also what I have to focus on for my class too. But I love training everything. I don't train legs. I have combat injuries that keep me from training legs. Mm-hmm. And but I like all of it. Yeah.
He had knee surgery last November.
Ooh.
And
total replacement. And, we brought him to the VA. They wanted to keep him overnight. Of course, he told them I'm not staying. So when the surgery got done and the doctor was talking to me, he's like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get full range in that knee. And I was like, what? He's not going to be able to squat? And the doctor kind of like, no, I don't think so. But long story short, there's like, well, if you want to leave today, you have to make sure you walk down the hall, walk up and down these stairs and all this before we even let you go. And he's like, all right, fine. So he did that. We got him home, still feeling a lot of the good stuff that he had in surgery. So the next day he goes, I think we need to go to the gym because I want to work my back out.
You just had knee surgery and you want to go. So we went to the gym and he would mind you, 2 days after that, I think it finally, everything wore off and he started feeling like, I don't think I'll be going to the gym for a little while.
This is a story. I remember this 2 years ago. Arnold Schwarzenegger, this is what I think was his first heart valve surgery he had. Yeah. And he was riding on a treadmill. His doctor came in and said, "What the hell you doing?" Yeah. And he said, I can't, it's 24 hours a day. You have nothing to do, get something to do. You have to be active and all, Arnold and Arnold Donnan, know. And that's the thing is that I can tell you, like when I had my surgery for my pacemaker, my sister, she drew me there. We stayed overnight. She stayed with me, my big sister, Betty, shout out to her. And it was like a funny feeling for me. I couldn't do anything for a good while. It felt like somebody shot me in my shoulder. Know, and it's just a thing about the human body. We go through a lot. Like you've been through combat, you've been in an accident, also having children. The body can go through a lot of trauma, and it's about how we take that trauma and how we use it to grow as a person. Like I talk to ladies that been through some stuff, and they tell me that, hey, George, it's tough, but bodybuilding is that sport that that keeps them going. I mean, like again, most people don't understand it. Like your family and friends. I have ladies telling me like. Some ladies told me they got divorced because they got into bodybuilding because the husband don't want. I ain't married no man. I married a woman, but she's still a woman, and you gotta love a woman. And the other guy was saying about you, Viki. He says you are beautiful. Well, Tony, you're kind of handsome. I don't swing that way, but it's about what fuels you as an athlete, as a person. The risk over reward. Is it worth getting up in the morning, do cardio, or or to be disciplined? Because most people don't have that discipline just to say, what, I got to do this. Sometimes like it might rain one day. You say, I don't feel like going outside. Then you say to yourself, you know what, I don't feel like driving all the way in the rain, but I'm gonna do a little run. Do my little early morning cardio. It's a choice of what you want more for yourself than anything.
Right, it is
exactly.
We pretty much took this past week off to just try to let our muscles relax, let our bodies relax a little bit because, after you add the 2 weeks from Tampa Pro running up to Max Fit, we had a 19-week prep. So, we took a week off, let our bodies relax. But this coming week we were at the gym today. We'll go tomorrow. We're back at it. But my days during the week, Monday through Friday, well, I take Fridays off from the gym. But Monday through Thursday, I'm up at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. Up at 3 a.m., go to the gym, come back, get all my stuff together, and then we eat breakfast and I head off to work. And then on Wednesdays, she opens up her barbershop for the rest of the week, and she's there all day. Mm-hmm. She runs, I work solo with what I do. She works solo in her shop. And like this past week, you had she probably had average right around between 18 and 22 customers a day in just a 6-hour period. I'm not talking about all day. I'm talking about like a 6-hour period, running that many skint noggins back to back. And so that's how we work. And neither one of us think it's normal for us. Mm-hmm. We don't think a thing about it. And because I get up at 3 a.m., go to the gym, and then the rest of the day when I get home, I'm either on a lawnmower, clipping hedges, putting down mulch, weed eating, all day. Just like Monday, right out of the gate, I've got 4 yards to do as soon as starting at 8 o'clock. So, and that's if I pick nothing else up between now and then. So,
I expect that because I worked since I can remember. I used to remember, like I said, my family were sharecroppers. I was working in the field with my mother and my brothers and sisters. I did blueberries, tobacco. Got my first real job when I was 16, and I worked at the gas station until that place was closed down. I was like the stock person. Then I was a cashier. There was the assistant manager. I was holding down. One point, I was holding 2 jobs. I was working that job at night, working at a textile factories. I did 10 hours a day, 4 hours a week, 4 days a week. Off on Friday, yay. And then I had another job. I used to work at night. I used to work at a gentleman's club. It's not, those guys weren't gentlemen, they wouldn't know me. But it was, I can understand that. But then, like I said, my mom got sick because I quit it was like maybe a month after my pacemaker surgery. I went back to work. I was working. Then they had me doing some stuff. I just turned 40 that day. It was my 40th birthday. I've been working since practically almost 30 years.
Right.
And I wasn't going fast enough. And you know what? I'm not built for speed. I had to walk out. The next day, my mom got sick. And I was, doing stuff here and there, trying to take care of her. And then, I was trying to work too, but sometimes most places don't want to hire you. You have something like this. So it was working under the table, trying to make them live for myself. But I took care of my mother because she needed me, and I told my family, said, "Well, do what you can. You can always file for your disability." And that's what I did, and I got it after a while. And I took care of her till she got sick, and till she passed. She got the virus, and after that, what was left for me? I mean, I don't have no kids. I don't have no woman. The woman I did have, she was gone. I felt like I was a widower, and doing this content and talking about I was always doing it before.
Right.
Because it helped me dealing with her stuff and stuff with things she had to do. She was going also, she had 4 seizures, a stroke, diabetic, and she was going through early stages of dementia. And there was a lot of stuff we had to do. Also at that time, one of my sisters passed away, and a lot of stuff was going on in life. Things were changing, and I had to step up and become the man of the house. Because
Right.
my brother, he was like kind of the man, but he was gone for almost 20 years. And doing this content about you ladies and about bodybuilding helped me in that process. Have something me to my mind to like shout out to a friend. His name is Coach Sherry Harrison. So we do something you like to do. So as I talk about you ladies and doing content and doing interviews bit by bit, and then and just meeting people like Eunice and talk about bad rap and meeting the Priorities, wait to meet them in person. Oksana is beautiful, man. She's not the first Russian person I met. Actually, it was a stripper I met years ago on the club, but but it was just doing this and talking to people like you. You two couple who love this. Like I said, you're my first couples. I've quite a few couples. One's like not a bodybuilder, one's a bodybuilder. Both are pros. One's amateur, one pro, and they share this thing together. Especially some like shout out my friend Keith, his wife Tina S. Williams. They share a family, taking responsibilities, find time to be bodybuilder. Keith, he had to take a time off because he was dealing with some medical issues. And this is a sport that, I said again, there's less reward and more risk than anything. I said again, the cost for you ladies, the travel cost, the cost for you guys too. Everything involved with coaches. I saw in you work with Kelly Wallach as the opposing coach.
Yes.
Top guy. I've often heard about him. Just interviewed one of his clients just the other day. And
he's great.
He's great. He's top notch guy. And from what I heard about this, really love the sport. The passion you have for it, the consistency, the dedication, the patience. You have to have most patience, understanding time, and then sacrifice you have to make. Because I know there's times where your friends say, hey, we're going to go here. You want to join us? Say, nah, we can't. We got to go to bed, get ready, do our cardio, do this, do that.
Right.
You can't, like your son got married. I know you couldn't eat stuff there at the wedding because you're on your. I interviewed a couple that their son just got married, and they know you can't eat it, and you can't go just do that because there's so much sacrifice. And I wish this is why I say this as a fan. I wish there was more return for the both of y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's true because before I met Tony, I was a single mom for 13 years, and I literally worked 3 jobs to do my shows, to pay for my suit, to pay for the hotel for that weekend, and to pay for the spray tan and the makeup and with her. So when somebody says you work 3 jobs, I was like, yeah, I ran my barbershop. I literally shoveled horse shit at a humongous horse farm early morning. And I also worked for a buddy that had his own electric company that either cleaning the gyms he owned or stripping those big wire copper, because he does electricity for big companies, and they have these big round copper tubes that you have to strip the plastic off, and they're big, and then you got to peel them off and put them in a huge bucket, and they're literally like bigger than the size of a quarter or a half a dollar. So I did that too to make money. So I said, I'm a girl that can do multiple things, and I did that just so I could do the show because it is very expensive and stuff, and trying to make sure I have my food as I'm trying to juggle all 3 jobs and stuff. So there's a lot of, like you said, sacrifices that you have to do. My daughter, there's times she had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym with me, sleep in the little kid room, and then take her to school. And then when she's at school, I come home, take my shower, pack my food, go to the barber shop, cut hair. For 4 years, 4 or 5 years, I had to do that and stuff. So people, when they say, oh, they can't do little things, I'm like, if you really wanted it, you could do it. You just put your mind and figure out how you're going to get to achieve it. So you're right. There's a lot of sacrifices people don't even think twice of the money that goes in. And like you said, there's not a lot of return that comes back to you except your own gratification of, oh, I got a little bigger, I looked a little nicer, and I got a little trophy or a little medal to show I did good. So, and you got to love the sport. You got to love the sport to want to do it, and know that even if you don't win, you still have to love the sport, because you're either going to go, I'm not winning, so I'm not even going to do this anymore. Okay, then, everybody loves to win. Yes, we're very competitive, but we're also there to see the people you made friends with through the years, and to see how everybody changes. Like, this year, one of the ladies, she was in one of my classes last year, and she ended up like, I think, third or something like that this year in the class 60. She took it. She got the little crown and everything. And it just goes to say, one year you might not get it, but the next year you might, if you put in the time, the effort to build a little better, just be well conditioned. So you can always be the following year, get to that achievement that you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the best things I've ever heard is, I don't know if you know who Tim Grover is. He wrote a book called Relentless. He was Michael Jordan's coach when Michael Jordan was playing basketball. He was also Kobe Bryant's coach, their personal development coach, and along with Charles Barkley and some other guys. But one of the things he said has just stayed with me the entire time, where a lot of people use the word sacrifice. And a lot of times I think we do it too, just because it's almost second nature, because that's just what you grow up hearing: sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. But at the end of the day, I don't look at any of it as a sacrifice. It's an investment. You're investing in yourself. You're investing that time. Because with that, you have to look, because you're learning. As much as we know, especially with 22 of us, there's always something to learn, always. And so I think having an open mind, and as you go, because there are a lot of people who won't go to the judges to get their critiques because their ego gets in the way. They don't want to learn anything. We relish getting that information. I mean, sometimes it might get your ego just a little bit, because you think you have something going on here when you really should improve a little bit, but we still listen to them. But for us, it's not a drudgery for us, because we know, even on some conscious level, that everything we're doing is an investment in what we're doing. I mean, I don't look at any of it as a sacrifice at all. Regardless, because if you want to win, if you want to be extreme, you've got to take extreme steps to do that. And whatever those steps are completely irrelevant if you want to get there. Those steps can't matter. They can't be things that stop you. Mm-hmm. They have to be steps that empower you to make you push harder and harder. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what and we're both the same way, regardless of what we encounter, we're like, well, screw this, we're going to do this anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it suck in the moment? Sometimes it might. Yeah. Sometimes it might. But you go around it, or you figure out a way to accomplish it, and then you're better for it. Mm-hmm. You were talking about David Goggins a while ago. He did a study with this guy that is a physiological researcher. And they were talking about this part of the brain where every time you force yourself to do something that you don't want to do, every time you complete those kind of tasks, your brain develops more. You get stronger and you become stronger. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, it's the truth. Yeah. Because once you do something that you dread doing, which we all do, you dread doing it. Once you're finished, you think about it for a moment. Okay, you just accomplished something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or you're happy you have it behind you. So, what we can do is invest a lot of time, in this, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, all of it. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. It's kind of like The best way to say a classic from Rocky Balboa, where he says, "Life can beat you down, but it's not about how much you think you hits, how you take the hits and keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward because that's how winning's done. It's gonna be tough because if you don't have that same resilience to say, you know what, I'm gonna do this and keep doing it. Some people instead of getting easy, like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm done. I'm just, I take to, I've been there before because I remember a while back I got a little under the weather. I got sick one time working out. My doctor took me off workout for a while because he wanted me to feel better. And I wanted to go back, but now I don't have a car. My car is in the shop. Been there about 2 years. It's my sister gave it to me because I just say, you know what, forget it. I was going to save for another car. I say the trip with Unison, you know what, forget that clop hopper, fuck it. And I said, I want to go support my friend. But I try to do little things for myself if I can. But like I said, I'm not perfect. I have particular addictions to it. I remember when I got back from Tampa, I called my sister. We were in Florence, which is about another 30 minutes from the depot in Dillon, South Carolina, where I got picked up, where I got dropped off. And I called, hey, come pick me up. I'm ready. I should be here about another 30 minutes. Come pick me up. Okay. So I said, well, let me do a couple of things before I get back home. So I stopped, paid a couple of bills, and then there's this Chinese restaurant buffet that's down the road, and I went to get that because it's just one of my addictions. I love that. But if you're willing to invest yourself, like you said, and bringing a great physique, great presentation, and you're willing to, like, I've heard competitors say that I don't get the judges' critiques, but sometimes it's good to get that info from somebody like, Tyler was there. I saw Tyler. To me, he's still wet behind the ears and breast like Similac. He just, I ain't just like. But if somebody like Steve Weinberger or Tim Gardner or Gary Udick, the Masters, the North America's coming this weekend. Some who are Sandy Williamson, the established, I would say, more established competitors, judges. I would most definitely take the quick. I know people look at like Tyler. He's a prodigy, but to me, said again, you're still wet behind the ears and breath smell like Similac. But that's the thing, that you take that information, and it's not nothing slight against you. It's just saying, okay, you need to fix these things, and you want to come in and be the best. You have to fix it. I mean, plenty of athletes have said that. You know what? Remember Tom Brady? He was picked like 15th out of the draft, and look what he did. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady. New
England. Well, he's not with them anymore, but still.
Well, he went to Jacksonville. You remember we retired. That last football, and then the guy paid that money for it, and didn't realize he came back to that shit. I feel bad for you to pay all that money and then he came back. But if you are willing to put that time in, put the work in, make decisions to grow and to develop as an athlete, you should. If you're not, then here's the thing: you can always go home and watch TV and bonbons.
Well, the thing too about taking the critiques from the judges to heart is you're most likely, if you keep competing, you're going to be right back in front of the same guys again. Mm-hmm. And they believe me, they remember you, because when we showed up down at Max Fit, some of those same guys were there. They remembered us from last year. So, they're going to look at you and they're going to think, well, did he take into consideration what I proposed? So, but because the thing that gets athlete, because we've seen it, one time, every show, athletes who won't change, and they do the same shows over and over, then in front of the same judges over and over, the results are the same over and over. They're the last. Or if they do place in the top 5, it's by default. That's because all there was is 5. But they never change, and those judges always know that. When you look the same show after show after show, year after year, the judges know. So.
Yeah, I know that show was a return of Dawn Allison. She was doing the wellness division. I followed Dawn for a long time. To me, I think she probably better back doing physique. Because wellness, if you look at those women, even if you are over 60, some of those ladies still have great conditioning, size, development. I think it's one thing she needs to work on if she's going to do that division, or just go back to physique or do women's bodybuilding. It's just my critique as a part of the sport. But some people they jump to division thinking it's like some people it's about how your body grows, how it works. It's not always you're not gonna do well in division. Like Megan, who was competing there, she was wellness. Now she's she took second to Zama and she beat out at least two ladies who are Olympic level competitors in that spot. Then she won Atlanta. You look at so many other competitors like I think about Ashley Jones, who was figured and with women's physique, and then now she's number 3, right behind Angela and Andrea. I mean, it's the evolution of every athlete to find what works for them. If you take a critique, and sometimes the judges can, they can hit or miss, and sometimes they're the ones who really. I say this with judges. Sometimes they're pushing certain looks that don't fit the criteria of the divisions. I think, like I look at Sharonica, she looks more like what women's physique should be. But then you look at the other women they're pushing, like Zama again. Wow, she even did a fit in women's bodybuilding. She was top 3 at the main Olympics about a few years back, being at least a couple Olympic level competitors at that show. But it's about it's about the process as an athlete. It's about the discovery, the work, and the time, and how you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, folks, I'm not going to hold this lovely Kirby too long. Tony just had his little sup. I know you want to lay down, enjoy himself, and get on the fast cardio. It's just it's a great opportunity to talk to anybody in the sport.
It is.
You get to meet. For me, you are like the umpteen people I got to interview with that I met before the interview. For me, it's a great opportunity. What would you say would be needed to really elevate to you a certain level as bodybuilders?
What would be the what? What was that?
What would you need? What do you think you would need for you to elevate to that next level as bodybuilders?
Little more size, which I've always, knew I need because, the older women, we don't build quads quite like a 20 and 30-year-old would. So, but to elevate into keep moving, it's just every year and it's always good to change the protocol a little bit to see if that helps with the growth. So this year, hopefully the way we're running our diet now is just going to really elevate that because we're not going to be putting on as much weight. We're not going to go 30 pounds over like the previous years.
Right.
We're going to stick in an 8 to 10 pound from stage weight and just do the growing that way with the proper food that we need, the certain amounts of healthy fats and meats and stuff like that. And, vegetables, and I do some fruits a little bit, but just keep slamming the workouts. We're bringing back high reps again in with some heavy sets, but we're not going to stick with just heavy sets. So we seem to have grown better when we throw in a lot of high reps, and our high reps can be anywhere from 20 to 50 to 100 reps, 4 or 5 sets. We just like the high reps that really hits the 2 different muscle fibers and stuff. And then take one that might be your heavy load and stuff, So I think that's going to be our protocol this off season to really see what we accomplish for next year, to see if we can get at least, maybe 4 or 5 pounds of muscle, if that's uncalled for, or probably a little less, I'm sure, but, just kill the workouts, because the workouts are what's going to help, and just staying on the cleaner eating side, and not everybody thinks, off season, I'm going to bulk up. So give me a bowl of oats and give me some rice and I'm going for pizzas and burgers and, all that stuff. We don't do that stuff just because it causes a lot of inflammation and joint issues. And at our age now, it's like, I prefer not to have a stiff hips and sore, swelled up fingers or elbows or whatever. So
bad knees, and everything else. I can tell you, now I got issues shoulder here. I got arthritis because it's genetic, because my parents had to give it to me. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and food plays a lot of part in that, because I have rheumatoid arthritis and a lot of other little issues. I don't take no medicine for none of this stuff. I just do it holistically with herbs and things like that, and stay away from the food that causes the inflammation.
Yeah.
And that's why what we're doing is really going to help keep that inflammation down as we really go into this off season of really just hitting a good workout and hitting the grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good idea. Y'all know what y'all doing. You understand what y'all doing. I would say people out there interested in both Tony and Viki's path as bodybuilders, if you want to support their your adventures as the sport, reach out with genuine interest. Reach out with support. But don't be this guy and say, "Hey, Vicky, I know, Tony, you can watch if you like. I got some plans for you." No, stop that, you sick freak.
That's right.
Stop that.
I never reply to men like that anyway. I'm like,
This is what you do. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Askins, we are a company that's looking to broaden our horizons and maybe interested in your horizons too. So we have a particular plan. We were wondering if you're interested in being ambassadors for our company, and we'll help you in your process. If what we have works with your process as bodybuilders and it works in your development, we'd like to help you out. And also in trade, we have a good relationship in trade of helping along the way on the ventures in the future. If there's something you feel like both of you are interested in, let us know, and we're happy to help you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I wish I can do that, but I'm broke as a joke. Just that trip to Tampa. I'd rather train there and train back. I think next year I'm thinking about get myself one of those real IDs and get on a plane. I don't know. I felt like Mr. T said, "Hey, fool, you're proposing my food." Say, I'm on a plane. But but folks, it's a pleasure to interview both these lovely people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you know, your plan, Tony, is you could take the year off and try to do nationals next year.
Yeah. I'm since I'm qualified, I'll just train up we'll do Masters Nationals, which is usually in July.
Yeah.
And it's still a Gary Udis show.
Yeah. And what's the plan for you, my dear lady?
Yep. I'm gonna get ready for next year again. And we always like to hit maybe the max fit first, but I never know if something comes up that's really good again. Maybe because I've never done the Chicago Pro or the New York Pro. Give or take.
Texas before.
I want to go to New York. I'm not sure, but Texas Pro was good. But I kind of see what's thrown out there. But I'm thinking my first show might maybe be the max fit one again, and take it from there, and then see where all the lineups are of the shows that are close by.
Yeah, too bad the tone is cut. There's still the Rising Phoenix because this. It's now, as the change. It's now open for women's bodybuilding. It's no longer the World Championship because Jake has moved on to expand more into the Olympia because he wants to compete with Arnold. Also, there is Legion's is cut out y'all division, and so has Daytona. But they still have a little more divisions compared to women's bodybuilding and even
right.
But it's about the opportunity, the time you take, and where you want to work at, and where you want to fall at. As Atlanta also does open, so it's and Masters. I mean, it's whichever works within your budget and within your time frame. That's the most important part.
Exactly.
And hopefully next year, because Masters Nationals is before any of that. So hopefully, if I can get my card, we'll be competing as pros together. So.
Yeah, I just interviewed a couple gentlemen. His name John is John Fashon. He's going to be doing the Masters World Championship with his wife Sharon this coming next weekend. Shout out to them, the Fashons. Best of luck to y'all too. So you have anybody before we let you go? Anybody you want to shout out to?
No, not particularly.
Just to all you women with muscles.
we love y'all women with muscles.
Yeah,
we love
muscles.
Yeah, guys, muscles, y'all cool, but I said, it may not be the age, but I'm down with the ladies. So,
but that's what this is all about. So
yeah. But I respect you too, Mr. Tony. What you're doing?
Thank you.
Oh, he has to say, and also, I just love you too, ladies with muscles. And again, Victoria, I'll tell you. You are beautiful. Don't you mind me saying that to your wife, Mr. Tony? I just wanted to say it. I'm sorry about him. I gotta see a specialist about him. I mean, but the problem is he completes me. So folks, I'd like to say again, thank you to the actors.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
No, to say this, to quote from my great hero, Mr. Batman, the great Christian Bale, who played Batman in Batman Begins. He says this: "You never have to. That's why I do this. This gives me a purpose.
Right.
And I appreciate the thank yous, but you never have to say thank you because we know what y'all most definitely need the this and support. We got here before we head out. Jonas Strong. Shout out to Jonas Strong. I follow him on social media. He does content on bodybuilding also. A lot of the ladies. He says, "Keep up the good work, Joyce." Thank you, brother. You too. I follow your content. Shout out to Jonas. He's on YouTube like myself. He does a lot of posts, a lot of videos and stuff. Shout out to him. I like to thank him for coming through. Shout out to my man KL the Wanderer coming through. Anybody who watched this video, follow us, subscribe, support. The links are in the description. I will put Tony's in. I forgot to put it in earlier when I was doing this because we just got this interview set up like barely a day or so ago. But I will appreciate anybody who's out here who wants to support these men and women in the sport of bodybuilding. It's a tough sport. It's like Roddy Coleman says, like, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one left this heavy ass weight.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
That's right. Shout out to
That's
the
it.
great Ronnie Coleman. Eight time, Mr.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
folks, I would say thank you, congratulations, all the best of luck to you in the future, and
Thank you.
maybe we get to meet again.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. Anyway, folks, I thank you again for coming here, my guests and my host here, as I really appreciate it. I'm going to catch y'all later on this evening. I'll be having another interview, and I appreciate y'all for supporting my channel and support these men and women sport of bodybuilding. Anyway, this is man always George Page, a.k.a. the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Good afternoon, good night, and God bless.